So today's question that I'm proposing to you is, are you responsible? Now let me get into some detail about what I mean when I ask that question about responsible and really about responsibility. So I want to break it down into three different themes. And the first theme that I want to talk about is physical responsibility. And this is what that means. Physical responsibility is our ability to do the mundane tasks of our life. Like, are we able to pay our bills? Are we able to obey the laws, stop at a stop sign, stop when the light's red? You know, these type of really just kind of simple things in our lives that can sometimes even feel overwhelming. And I know that sometimes it's hard to be responsible, to take care of some of the business that we need to take care of because life gets busy. But are we making the effort to do and be the most responsible that we can in that area physically? So that's the first question I just want to ask, is like, how responsible are you? And if you think about it, like, think about a child. And, you know, children initially are pretty irresponsible until they learn what they need to be responsible for. And we all have different upbringings and experiences that determine how good we are or how we struggle on taking care of these physical responsibilities for ourselves. And even the responsibility of taking care of our body and the responsibility of self-care. And my reasoning for bringing this up, even all together, is that we are in a time right now where this is a big theme for us, is how responsible are we being? So the next place I want to go with responsibility is to look at emotional responsibility. Now, emotional responsibility, you know, this is when things begin to get a little bit tougher for some of us. And emotional responsibility is your ability to respond to a situation from a place of non-reactivity. And that isn't always easy. It isn't always easy. And it isn't always easy to respond when we feel triggered. And so, but yet it is our responsibility to do the best we can. It truly is. Whether we want to, you know, own that or not, it is. It's our responsibility to treat people and to treat ourselves in ways that feel forthright and just in right relationship. So when you get triggered, when you feel some kind of threat, do you shut down? Do you react in a emotionally violent way? Do you not do anything? So kind of think about that for a second for yourself. Like, what happens to you emotionally when things get triggered? Or do you just not even deal with it? Just go be in denial about the feelings. Like, nope, not even have the feeling. Don't even realize that I'm even having a feeling. Just know that I'm just shutting down. And that's what happens for a lot of people until they realize this is what they're doing. That's what all of us do until we realize that we're doing this, is that we will just not even realize that we're having a feeling, and we'll just shut it down and just move right on over it or ignore it. So that's what I'm going to call emotional responsibility here. And this is where our victim comes in, and this is where the victim will just have, you know, will be insidious, my favorite word here with the victim, and it'll just have a heyday and keep us in that place of survival, that place of fight, flight, or freeze. So my last way of talking about responsibility, and this is probably, you know, not probably, this is the main reason why I came on, is that I want to talk about soul responsibility. And I keep bringing up this, you know, the concept of soul and more than deeper than a concept, but just the relationship to soul, because it's really what's going on for us right now. So let's look at that from a soul responsibility. Like, what does that mean? Our soul responsibility, S-O-U-L, is that inner voice inside. It's that inner prompting inside that is calling us out. It's calling us out into possibly a new way of being in life. It's calling us out to make some choices that are in alignment with our life path. It is calling us to make some choices that possibly would be threatening to our emotional and physical survival. It is that responsibility of answering that very thing that just might frighten you. If we look at life from a bigger perspective and we say, why am I here? What is the meaning of life? That's how I got started in this whole realm of work that I'm in, is those are the questions that I asked myself. This was many years ago. And I was determined that I needed to have the answer to this, because my life was no longer feeling, it was being challenged. So I went on this journey to discover that. And here I am today, answering the question of what my promptings were. What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? What is my purpose? And so what I learned on this path that I've been on is that it is the call of the soul, that I must be responsible in order to find the truth. So as a recap, coming full circle, are you responsible? And if you're feeling that you're maybe struggling in some areas of being able to be responsible in the physical way, in the emotional way, in the soul way, it's not uncommon. It's part of the human experience. But in order for us to really be able to listen to the promptings of our soul, if our emotional responsibility and if our physical responsibilities are things that we're not paying attention to, then we're going to struggle with finding like that other deeper soul connected place inside of us. If we're not willing to look at our inner landscape of emotion, if we're not willing to look at and address the physical things that we are not attending to in our life, then it's going to be very difficult to get and be in that higher vibration of, understanding and feeling and following that soul responsibility. So I just want to invite you to take a look at that for yourself. And I hope this was of some help for you. Namaste.